part 3 of my Jingle 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 workshop series. In today's video, we're going to be creating these Believe in the Magic cards. It's going to be really fun because we're going to also bring in another stamp set by Stampin' Up. Both of these are in the holiday catalog. We're going to combine Jingle 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 with Snowman Magic. We're going to create a whole little scene here, and we're going to cut out the scene, or we're going to cut out the pieces for the scene using the deckled rectangle dies. Let me go ahead and show you the main stamp set. Then I'm going to show you the designer series paper we're using. So I'm going to change it up. I've been using the same paper for the whole first several projects, and now I'm going to change it up. So this whole series, during the month of October, and it'll probably go into November a little bit, is featuring this stamp set called Jingle Jingle Jingle. In the first two videos, we did things with the Jolly and the Jingle. And so now it's time to do something with the Believe. And then I will cycle back and use Jolly and Jingle again. I'm going to turn to this other page and show you the paper. So Santa Express is a suite that's in this mini catalog as well. Both things I'm showing you are part of the July to December mini catalog. And this time we're using this paper called the Santa Express Designer Series paper. I chose this paper for several reasons. It has a lot of layering elements to it, even though it looks busy. The other side of it has great layers for elements for layering. And because it has a lot of this coordinating colors of the paper we've been using up to this point, which is host-only paper. So this paper we've been using up to this point for the whole series is called Celebrate Everything. And this is one of the rewards you get when your order is $150 or more. You can cash in those rewards for this paper. Or other cute things like the caroling mice. Different kinds of host rewards are in the different catalogs. Okay, so let's just bring in the deckled rectangles and start cutting some of that paper. And I'll show you what that looks like. So here's a couple cards. This is the Granny Apple Green card base and a Shaded Spruce card base. I'll tell you more about the colors as we get to that point. Some of the techniques you'll learn in this series, or in this particular video of the series, are going to be stamping and blending using the Wink of Stella as well. That's a glitter brush. Die cutting, which we're going to start with. And how to assemble your cards and coordinate your colors. So what you do this is the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I've been saying to all my customers that if you want this machine, you need to get it as part of the starter kit. It's a great deal that way, because you're allowed to pick out this month $155 worth of items and only pay $99. Well, this item alone is $125. And you would get this item, free shipping, plus $30 worth of other things, maybe perhaps this stamp set. And then you could get it all for $99 in free shipping. What a great deal that is. Not that you wouldn't get this. You could just buy it outright, too. If you bought the machine for $125, got $25 more worth of items as a customer, that's fun, too, because then you can get rewards and other things. But Stampin' Up! Demonstrators get the best of both worlds. We get rewards on our orders, and we get to get a discount. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm die cutting now. I'm going to use plate number 1, which is your base plate. That's the sandwich. Plate number 2, which is your thin die adapter. Whenever you're using metal dies, you want to use a plate number 2. I'm going to go ahead and cut through 2 pieces of basic white cardstock at the same time. It's not the thick basic white. It's the regular basic white. We're going to look at I took the larger deckled rectangles, and we're going to take this one here, this one. So we're using the largest for the layering, but the one for the white, I'm going to take the third largest, and I'm just going to place it on the platform and put part of the sandwich is you're going to put a plate number 3, right? So we have a plate number 1, 2, and of course we need a plate number 3. Put down the cardstock, put down the die, and then put another plate number 3 for the top of your sandwich. I'm going to go ahead and make us 4 of these. You can cut 2 at once. The reason I'm going to go ahead and make 4 is because you'll hear that little cracking sound. Don't worry about the cracking sound. I like to do a few of these at once, and also if we have any mistakes, then we have like the pieces that we need already cut. And I don't have to go back and take out the machine. I can clear the table for coloring. So here we go. Show you that. I thought I cut 2 at once. They must be really stuck together. I'm stuck on you. Where'd it go? Oh, there it went. Here it is. It's stuck on the plate. I knew it was. I was like, where'd it go? Here are the pieces. So let's go ahead and cut some more. Cutting basic white. You can also cut 2 pieces of or 3 pieces of designer series paper at a time. But I never cut more than 2 pieces of cardstock at a time, especially if I have like stitching or something. You can't really see the stitching on the second piece. That went through much easier this time. All right, so we have lots of pieces, and I even cut some earlier, so we can do lots of stamping. Here are a couple that I have from earlier. So now I have 6. We are good to go. We don't have to worry about anything. Now we're going to take the same sandwich, right? And we're going to take, so we had the 3 largest ones. We're going to take the next largest one and the next largest one and just cut some layers, right? So we'll take the small one, get rid of the small one. I'm just going to bring in some of this paper because it's great for layering. Let's see. I also took out some from my, we're not going to use the fa la la right now, but I think this fa la 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 from the Santa Express would be great for this one. 'Tis the season to be jolly, right? And then we could put fa la 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 on the whole background. So I think maybe we'll do that next time because that's like made for that, right? But I was thinking for these, I'm just going to take out some I had from my paper share. Paper share's not going on anymore, but I will be doing a paper share in January for the new catalog coming out, which I'm going to get my hands on when I go to an event in November called On Stage. So if you want to see the whole paper, I'll just show it to you real quick. All the pieces. This is Boughs of Holly, which is also awesome for layering. But over here, this is called Santa Express. So this is what it looks like. We can cut some of that one. This piece is great for layering. We'll do the fa la la later. Got little gifts and little polka dots, little trains, ho ho ho. And these pieces here are great for layering. And great, this one here is great for backgrounds too. All right, so I'm going to do 2 at once, but we'll save these 2 because I'm going to run it through a couple times. Let's go ahead and put these big ones down. So I'm going to do the big ones right there, right? And then we're going to do a set of smaller ones right like that. So we can fit, because this paper is, the first piece I'm putting through the machine is 12 by 6. So I can go ahead and put a couple on this platform. But the next paper is only 6 by 6, so I can only cut 1 set at a time. The die cutting machine goes either way. You can use your right hand or left hand. I've actually been working on strengthening my left hand by just kind of cranking it with that, because I am right-handed, but I just kind of crank it a lot with the left hand. All right, so there you go. Now we have lots of options. See, we can layer this one to this one to this one. Already we have lots of options. So let's go ahead and do a couple of these. We'll do that one and this one a couple times. So we'll have these ready to go. And let's go ahead and make a big one. Cut through the big one. These are the 6 by 6 pieces. That's why I can only cut with 1 die. Okay, and let's make sure we get the other one because we need more options. I'm going to get the smaller die. So I'm going to grab, so put that over here for a moment. Smaller die. This is a smaller die. Let's make sure. Okay, this one we just got done cutting. Okay, put that off to the side. Get rid of that one. Get rid of this. Put some paper here and cut some with the smaller die. And now I have lots of options for layering. And then we can just color. And when we're done, I have already 4 cards made. 4 pieces for 4 cards. I have all the layers cut. And usually I would do more than this. I would just cut all my paper and then do all my stamping, then do all my coloring, et cetera, especially because coloring I often do while I'm watching TV. All right, we're done with the die cutting for the day. I'm not die cutting any of the pieces for the snowman because we're just going to be doing stamping. Now, you can use the snowman dies. There are snowman dies and make little 3D snowman, which I have shown. So if you're interested in seeing how I did all that, it is in my Christmas in July series. I'm going to do some stamping now. In my Christmas in July series, I showed how to do really cool snowman cards using this, and I did the snowman dies and we layered them. So we're going to need, let's get snowman magic. We'll start with the Jingle 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 because that is, after all, what we're doing. I've already mounted the Believe, and what you want to do is get your silicone mat or something to stamp on. So I'm going to grab a placemat, piece grid paper. I'll put that down. And I'm going to use Memento Black because we're coloring with the stamping blends. So let's put this down here. Okay, Memento Black, coloring with the stamping blends. So you're going to go ahead and ink it up like this. And then you're going to turn it over and make sure that you can stamp it good on your mat before you stamp it onto your paper, that we have good ink coverage. Let's go ahead and do that. Believe in the magic. I'm going to put that down, put the first piece of paper, get it kind of close to the top. I say kind of close because you need room for that snowman hat. Ask me how I know. I was putting it down too low, and then I tried to put the snowman hat on, and it was getting too close to the words. So you can go, kind of close to the top there. I'll put those there for watching, for just like an inspiration up there. All right, so we have one done. Let's go ahead and do all the believes. Okay. If the stamp is bigger, like this, if the stamp is bigger than the ink pad, you need to stamp it upside down just to get good coverage. So these little silicone mats are just great to have because they're $5. They're just great to always get good coverage when you use the silicone mat. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and do these. If you like mass-producing cards, you're going to see how I'm making 70 cards in my upcoming course. I documented the entire process of making the swaps that I'm creating for an event I'm going to, and you're going to see how I produce 70 cards. And it's not that I did them fast because they're very intricate and there's lots of die cutting, but I did them efficiently. Better than doing them one card at a time, which would have just taken forever. That course will be released this month. That is the plan. And if you're on my mailing list, you will find out about that. Or if you're taking one of my other courses on Udemy Academy, then I will be doing emails. If you're not on the mailing list, go ahead and click on the description of this video. There's a little bit of smudges on this one. And in the description of this video, it says my website, which is also right here, paperedchef.stampinup.net. Here, let's put it, because there's a glare, you can't really see that. We'll put it up like that. And on that website is a place right there that says subscribe to mailing list. What I'm doing is taking my eraser, because when you die cut and there's little smudges on your plates, even though they're kind of new plates, the smudges transfer over to your paper. So then you erase the smudges. Oh, if you can. I mean, if smudges are caused from like a little bit of adhesive, because I was using a lot of adhesive sheets in my machine, you can get rid of the smudges. But if it's caused from something else, like ink, you can't really get rid of them from an eraser, obviously. You can't erase the ink. Well, blends, I'll show you how you can erase blends because it's alcohol markers, but you can't really erase this kind of ink. You can cover it up, though, with embellishments, which is always good. All right, good. Now, the reason I did that first is so not only so it can dry, but because I like to do things in stages. So now we're going to do in the magic. So we'll use one of my stamping blocks here, and we'll just do in the magic on all the papers. Just put it at an angle. I just re-inked my black, so put it over there. You got to put it on the side because of that snowman hat, right? The snowman hat's going to kind of be right there, so you can't center in the magic for this scene. Has to be off to the left. Let's get this whole little pile. This is the way to get your Christmas cards done. And these are great for like the winter season in general. Not only do I like to send Christmas cards, but I also like to send thank you cards to anyone I may have missed or anyone gives me a gift. All right. Oh no, but I need the memento block. Keep that out. Okay, let's start working on the snowman. So for this, we're going to take, I'll just use this big one. This big stamping block here. We're going to put this little snowman on there. So when you're going to mount a stamp, this is a photopolymer stamp, just mount it with the flat side up. Okay, stamp the snowman, stamp it on there. Make sure you get good coverage before you start using your nice paper, right? Get good coverage, put it down low. Leave enough room for a tree on the right side. I probably should have left more room for a tree. Here, maybe like there. Leave enough room on the top for that hat. Look how fun. I said I was doing 2, but look how quick I'm doing more than 2. We're going to at least have 2 successful ones. We're not going to maybe color these all, but they'll be done. I'll be happy that they're done. And I can color them later. Okay, I was going to leave room for a tree, but it looks like in this case I have to put it over there because the magic is over. So this one's not going to have a tree on the left side. Don't worry about that little bit of color or didn't get a good stamp because it really doesn't matter because I put little arms on it and I do some stuff with the blends, etc., etc. All right, so let's do some arms. Okay, we're going to take these arms are already mounted. I'm going to go ahead and take crumb cake. We'll make the arms. Okay, so tap, tap, tap. Make sure the arms are good, right? Arms. I just mount both arms together. It's just easier than trying to figure out how far away they go each time. And the reason I put them kind of close together, they're kind of inside the... Usually I would put the arms sticking out a little further, but they got in the way of my trees before if I made them stick out too far. And I've done a lot of experimentation, so you don't have to. If you want to fit a tree on the right, a bunch of trees on the left, you need to make the arms kind of close together. Okay, done with the crumb cake. We don't need it anymore. Let's create some scenes with the... Oh, well, we'll do a pool party in a minute. We got this one. We can make some... We'll get rid of this one. Let's do the face. The face of the snowman. Okay, you can go like this and put the little stamp so it's flat side up. Tap, tap, tap. Happy snowman face. Now, what's really cool about this Snowman Magic stamp set is that the faces go each way. So you can have one face like this and one face pointing this way. So if you put the snowman on that side and said, believe in the magic, put the magic over there, then put your snowman over that side and make the little carrot point inwards. Because it's just one of the things in design is you want to put, when you're designing things, you want to make like the characters pointing into the scene. You wouldn't want to make unless you're trying to make Mr. Snowman look over the horizon like a mystery. You'd want the snowman to look into the scene. Okay, now we're going to put the little hat on. There's lots of hats. There's lots of scarves. There's lots of cute things. We're just going to use the top hat. There's like a little beach hat. There's a little wool hat. You can put the hat at an angle a little bit. Kind of tilt it down. Each one will look slightly different. It's pretty cool. Okay, I thought the scarf was a bit much, but the scarf is great if you're die cutting and then you just do like a 3D scarf, but it's a bit much for this. So instead I just added buttons and I didn't do a scarf. So let's get the buttons. 3 buttons. Okay, we're just gonna mount that onto the same. Okay, let's see how I did it. Let's check out the one I did. Was it that way? Or that way? It was this way. They curved sort of like that. Oh yeah, that's the right way to put the buttons. See how they curve a little bit? You could put buttons in different colors. I was just going with the black because I'm coloring. Okay, so before you do the bunny, you need to do the trees because you need to know where to fit the bunny. So now we can, but I'll go ahead and mount the bunny because I'm going to use that little tiny stamping block. So we're going to mount the bunny on there. It's also going to be done in Memento Black because we're going to be coloring the bunny with the Stampin' Blends. And when you use alcohol markers, you color with Stampin' Blends, you use this Memento ink because it doesn't run. So I'm going to go ahead and cover the Memento ink just for a moment while I do the pool party trees. I tried shaded spruce trees, and then I was like, wait a minute. This is a winter scene. Shaded spruce didn't look good for my trees. So I ended up using pool party for my trees. So as you can see right now, except for Believe in the Magic, everything I've done since Believe in the Magic is all done with this stamp set called Snowman Magic. Okay, both available now on my website in the holiday catalog. Go ahead and mount that. Tap, tap, tap. Okay, pool party trees. Stick some over there. My upline, she engraved my stamping block for me. That's why you can't see through this particular stamping block, but it's still useful. Even though it's engraved, I can still see enough to do. I'm only doing the first set of trees, and you'll see why. Do the rest later a different way. And I already smudged my hand on that, but that's what, when you smudge your hand on things, that's what embellishments are for. At the end, we use these little snowflake stickers, and we cover up little smudges of ink and stuff. Or just leave them, because really, it's awesome and nobody will care if you have a little smudge of ink. All right, so now we can put our bunny, and then we can keep on making trees. So let's put our bunny. I'm going to open up this ink again. I just didn't want to get it on things. So bunny. Just getting the good ink coverage, and then I'm putting the bunny right here. Put his little tail under the tree, because you need it to fit. Because we need other trees there. And if we don't put the bunny's tail under there, you can barely fit the two trees next to it. Thank you all for saying hello. I will get to give you guys a shout out in a little bit. All right, so now to make the trees right next to it, we're going to go back to, I'm going to go ahead and close the Memento because I think I can safely say that this is done now. Put that off to the side. And what I want to do is put some sticky notes. Just going to move this for a moment. Okay, this was for the inside of the card, so I could do that later maybe with you. But what I want to do is put some sticky notes there and there. And we'll just see if we can fit, like, maybe we'll just fit one tree there because it's a narrow area. So you're masking off the part that you don't want to get messed up. So I think one tree will fit. I'm just doing the one tree because this tree has a little bit of a gap between it. It's easier to do the one tree there. So good. Now, we can put one tree off to the side just by... I should have put that on the silicone mat, but there you go. So now we have a little scene with 5 little trees. And we put some snowflakes around it later. We're good to go. So just keep using that same little mask. This time I feel like I can fit 2 trees right there. So we'll go ahead and try to fit 2 trees right there. Okay, a little bit of extra ink got right there. No problem. We just a little snowflake there. Okay. This one's going to be like part of one tree. It's going to get cut off a little bit. That's okay. We're going to pick the best ones anyway to work with for the rest of the coloring. And it's like only paper and it's only ink. Oh, I can tell that's the best one so far. Because look, we have good old 6 trees. They all came out. Oh, we didn't do the tree over there. We have 5 trees. This one didn't have enough room to put a tree, but I'm really liking this one, so I'm going to use this one. Sometimes you don't have enough room for the tree on the right side. Let's see if we can get away without masking the other side. Nope, it looks like we're only going to be able to get one tree in here. Oh, and it got a little bit of ink on it. But you get the idea. So I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with this one and this one. Let's see what we have going on here. We'll try to do this one. We may not be coloring all of the two, but we get the idea. All right. This one's pretty good. That one came out pretty good too. So you can color things with puff paint. Oops, it did until I got that smudge on top. All right, we're going to go with these two. And that's why we made extras. All right, so let's close the pool party. And let's start jamming our coloring here. So we're going to put down, let me grab this one with all the blends that you're going to need. And I'll just tell you what I'm doing as I'm doing it. I'll use one color at a time. We don't need to do any. So it's very important that because you just got ink all over your hands that you sort of wipe them off. And also when you're coloring, I'm going to do the believe part first. So it's important to just wipe my hands off with baby wipes, but also that you sort of cover it like this. So I'm going to cover the believe first. So make sure you do something like this, or you end up with like ink all over your scene. So this is just using sticky notes to do a masking is all I'm doing. Otherwise, you get smudges all over things, which are pretty easy to, smudges are pretty easy to get off or cover up with. With the embellishments. All right, so let's do, kind of liking this one better where I started with the red, and it wasn't just red, it was poppy prayed. So I think I'm going to go with that one. This one I did, but I could do one of each. I'll just do, okay, so started with the poppy prayed, and this one I started with, I guess it was the background I put it on. I started with poppy prayed, but then I put it on a shaded spruce. This I started with granny apple green and put it on a granny apple green background. So let's just show you how I did this. All right. So I started with the dark. I put the dark on the bottom. Sometimes you can use the thick side if it's not too messed up your little nib from your blends markers. But sometimes the nibs are really, really wide, and I have to switch to the small side. Okay, so let's see. I'm also, you know what, I'm kind of more comfortable with the small side for this kind of thing because it just gives me so much more control. So you're just kind of going like this. When you blend, always do your darker color first. You can go ahead and do them all at once because I want contrast between the two colors. Now, normally I would say, color one letter, then blend it with the light color so that it blends real nice. But in this case, I want there to be sort of a little stark contrast between the two, the top and the bottom. And so in that case, I don't mind letting a little part of it dry. Now we get the poppy prayed light. Let's see what the big side looks like. Okay, that's good. The big side for this one's okay. Because I'm kind of just going over the middle part. So I'm just blending the middle part together a little bit. I'm not going over the bottom part anymore because it's already dark enough. It's coloring in the top. And of course, this looks better as it dries. You can see how mine looks on the right. It's had a chance to dry. Feel free to case this exact card. They're like, go ahead and make it yourself. Like to get the Jingle 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 stamp set, please use the link. If you're in the US, that is, please use the link in the description of this video to purchase the stamp set. Now we're going to use, that was Poppy Prayed, light and dark. Blends come in light and dark. Now I'm going to use Granny Apple Green. Because Shady Spruce was too dark for this project, even though it's one of the coordinating colors. And I already did too much blue at the bottom part, so I thought, okay, let's use these colors at the top part. So it was a lot of experimentation, but this is what I came up with. So Granny Apple Green and Poppy Prayed. And when you have blends, like alcohol markers like this, you can be like an artist. It's so cool to like the things you can do with them. Okay, I think I better use the small side. Let me see about that. Yeah. The big side had a lot of alcohol dripping out of it. I don't know where, because I didn't refill them, and it was like alcohol was dripping all out the large side. Okay, so that didn't take long. Once it dries a little bit, I put some Winkostella on this, on the whole thing. We'll do the Winkostella at the end. Okay, so good. See what we got going on here. A little bit of, this time I'm going to start with the Granny Apple Green, because we started with the Poppy Parade on the other one. Now I'm coloring standing up, which is fine, but I usually color, and that's because I'm doing this video, but I usually color sitting down. But you need good light when you color. If you do go outside the lines, I'll show you what to do. That happens, and there's something called let's see what they call it. Color lifter. That's the name of it. Color lifter that we sell. So whenever you get Stampin' blends, even if you're just going to work on your first couple of pairs, say you're like, oh, I like these colors. I have a lot of things that go with Granny Apple Green and Poppy Parade, right? There's a lot of paper. Like the paper we used last week goes with Granny Apple Green and Poppy Parade. And if you like these colors, get yourself a color lifter as well every time. Oh, I better use the smaller side. Color lifters are important for getting, when you go outside the lines, it's like an eraser for your ink. You can, but you let it dry a little bit if you go outside the line. Then you come back in with the color lifter, which sort of rubs it off. But when it's too wet, you can't really use the color lifter because it just smears. Okay, so good. And now we're going to do Poppy Parade. Let's get these out. Okay, this is too thick. All right, that's what I said. See, now we'll get to use the color lifter, because I just went outside the line a little bit. I would say use the smaller side for these kind of letters, because it just gives you much more control. Now, on every one of our blends markers, there is a small side. See, small tip, and then there's a big brush tip. So for bigger areas, it's pretty cool. We're gonna get the light Poppy Parade. Okay, as I said let's use the smaller. We're gonna use light Poppy Parade with the smaller side. And wait till you see how this dries nicely as we're doing our snowman, how this will come out. It comes out better as like the time goes on. All right, so we're good now. Gonna take that little bit. So we're gonna say for this, right? And this, we're just gonna take the little color lifter, which I told you I had here. So you're gonna take the small side of it. This is the color lifter. And you're gonna get in there and just sort of rub it. And don't worry that it makes a big blob. That's what's going to happen, and you got to do it again in a minute. It's going to get that lightened up and make sort of a pink color, and then a little while later you can get in there, and it'll make a little bit lighter color. And the more you rub it, the more it'll just eventually come off. All right, so I decided that for today I'm going to do a pink bunny and a blue bunny. So I'll just do the blue bunny like I did earlier. What I did is I used the balmy blue, and then I went around the outside like this, and then but I didn't want to use balmy blue for the whole bunny because it really wasn't a coordinating color with this paper, but yet I wanted a blue bunny. So what I did is I took balmy blue and I blended it, put a little bit on there, with the dark pool party. And it sort of worked out where I had a sort of a pool party bunny, but he wasn't like having too much pool party in my scene because I already have pool party going on with my snowman and the trees. So, but this time I think I'm going to do a pink bunny. You could take either the dark or the light pool party blend when you're done and just go like around the edge of the part of your snowman. And I used to do this with a different snowman set we had last year, and it seemed to work out really well. So just going around it like that. And we'll go ahead and do the top one as well. It's going to give you that little bit of dimension around your... So you don't need to color in your whole snowman. You can use Wink of Stella, like the glitter brush. I'm just kind of going around the sides a little bit. Oops. Since I did it, I'll go a little more. All right, now we're going to get the... Okay, we don't need the light pool party for that. We're going to now do petal pink, because petal pink's a coordinating color. So we're going to make one of the bunnies pink. And for this bunny, I'm going to use... Wow, that brush is jacked up. So we'll do the small side. So I'm going to use the dark petal pink, because it's a coordinating color of this pink bunny in the paper. So the pink bunny will work too. And some light petal pink. Now I can use the big side because I'm just kind of going around coloring in the blobs. Color in the ear a little bit. So now we have a pink bunny and a blue bunny. And now we need the carrot nose. You're going to take your small side of your pumpkin pie for the carrot nose. Now when you do this, just do little dots at the beginning of the carrot nose or you'll get it all over. Just type little dots because it's small. And then you can get in there and color it. So dot, 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 color. Watch. Dot, 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 dot. And then color. Because the front of it's too small. Just use little dots. All right, now, we don't need to color the hat. I was going to color the hat, but I just instead used some Wink of Stella on the whole thing. So for what I do for Wink of Stella is I kind of start with the lighter parts of my scene. Like, okay, color in the hat a little bit, right? Color around the edges of my snowman. Wink of Stella's cool. It's a little glitter brush. See, look at that. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. Okay, we'll see it in a minute. We'll see it in the whole thing. Color my little bunny. Color my little trees. First down. Then around. You're just making the little trees have bling. It's a clear brush. But I say to do all this stuff first because before you do up there, these kind of smear, these kind of colors. Now, always do Poppy Parade last. So, well, actually, we'll put that over there. We'll do Poppy Parade last over here, too. Hat around the snowman. So what you've done is you just transformed a paper. You know, ink, that's what the magic of ink is, just ink and stamps. And you can make the scene, you're an artist, make the scene however you want. Make a little family of snowman beneath here. And you can use the snowman dies too if you get the whole bundle. All right, so now that I'm done the clearer, the lighter parts, now I can get up here and do. Okay, I'm going to do the Poppy Parade last because Poppy Parade tends to smear all over the place on my Wink of Stella brushes. Watch it not do that today because I said it was going to. Oh, and by the way, you can get in there again once in a while and tap your little. So still using the color lifter. Get in there a little bit and do color lifter. Okay, go back here, do the greens. Granny apple green. Now I can do the Poppy Parades. Give it a shake. Shaking up that glitter in there. Ooh la la. Look at how cool it looks with Wink of Stella on there. It's just so much nicer than not having it. And then we add some stars at the end. We don't add those until we do the adhesive. So I'm using regular basic white paper. I'm not using the thick basic white cardstock. I'm using the regular basic white cardstock. So and when you use that, oops, sorry, just moving things. When you use that paper, I'm going to grab all my layers now. Say hi and layer up these cards. I'm going to show you the back of these, was what I was talking about. Like, so when you use the blends on this kind of paper, it's not the thick paper. Look, it runs through, and that's okay. But just keep in mind, if you're trying to do bookmarks or something, you need a layer behind this kind of paper. Just be aware that that's what it does. It runs through. So don't be sending me an email. I just bought blends, and they're running through. They're supposed to run through. You bought basic white paper. That's what it does. You can send me an email. I'm only kidding. My customers send me emails all the time. But don't send an email about that. Because I just told you that it's supposed to do that. Send emails about other things, but not that. All right, so let's go ahead and layer these up. So we're going to take, remember I made 2 of each, so we'll go, put like that one with this one, right? This one is the same as that one. Put this one with that one. Or put this one with that one. And this one with that one. See, that's how we're going to layer these up, right? So we'll do one of these. And we'll do one of these. Okay, we've already done that one earlier. The same combination. Hey, I just did the two same combinations we had earlier. Oh, probably because they work good on the backgrounds. So here we are. We'll just do these and these. But you can see how we made enough for 4 layers. Taking the Seal Plus and just putting some on the back here for the layers. So layer these up. I don't know if it matters which way the little stars are falling because they're just borders. So again, these are deckled rectangles. A great thing for your crafting toolkit. In this series, we've been using stitched rectangle dies and deckled rectangle dies. They're my go-to. Deckled or stitched rectangle dies are my go-to. I've been using forever. And these deckled ones just came out. So let me grab my little card bases. Okay, next you want to get your card bases. We're going to use a shaded spruce card base. Make sure it opens like that. And we're going to use a granny apple green card base. Make sure it opens like this. You guys know how to make card bases from the rest of my tutorials. Let's see. Maybe we'll do that one this time that way. And this time that way, just to make them a little different. I mean, that'll work. It's still contrasting. Just to change it up from the exact cards I already have. You see how it doesn't really take any extra time to make a couple cards. Like, it doesn't matter if you don't want to mass produce cards or sell cards at a craft fair or something. If you just want to make cards, always make a couple cards at once. Send the card, save the other card, because if you build it, they'll come. You're going to need it. As soon as you make 2 cards, which took you hardly any extra time, then you're going to be like, oh, good, now I need a card real quick. And I have one because I made 2 at once. Or probably better to make 10 at once. Now that we have those layers done, and always double check again because I always tend to do things upside down. So always check again that it opens up before you layer that. And what I'm about to do is show you what's inside, or what we did last time. And I also want to show you we can do the inside of the card as well. I'm going to show you how I stamped the inside of one of these cards. Okay, I don't want to rub on it because of the Wink of Stella. I just turned it over and instead do that to get it to stay because I don't want to smear anything. I do like the blue bunny better, but I just wanted to change it up and not have all blue bunnies, so we have the pink bunny. Okay, now we need, let's clear this so we can show you some more things. We need the little stars. Adhesive back stars are a great embellishment. They cover up any problems we might have, like, dots of blobs of ink, and you can use just any kind of odd number of embellishment that you want. Okay, let's take some of these. We'll go, ba-boom, a star. Okay, I was seeing if they're smears or if they're eraser marks. That one could use a little star right there because of the mark. So now, but because of that, we have these kind of on the same plane. I'm going to need extra stars. So instead of having 3 for this card, I'm going to have 5 because I needed one down there. We'll do something over here. There's a little smudge right there that would use a good star. Right above the B. So I always like to use an odd number. Okay, so you have your little snow scene going on, and you can add your little stars, cover up any mistakes. And you always have die cuts too. So not for this. The Jingle 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 doesn't have die cuts, a set of dies, but the Snowman does. I'm just doing a big one up there because of there was a little blob of ink. And I think that's, fading off now. You can see how that color lifter worked. And we're going to do it with the odd number. Put that there. And that's how it's done. And the next cards are going to be easier than the cards we just made because I already have the little pieces already. And now I just need to color them, layer them. Look, we have all that time we have extra pieces made at the same time. We have extra white pieces already stamped, and it's just a matter of coloring. So we are good to go to mass produce this kind of little scene here. And I'll probably do something like that for the next. So let me show you the inside of one of these. Say hi to you and show you the rest of the projects. That's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna show you the rest of the things we made in parts 1 and 2. So hi Kathy, hi Janet, hi Lynn, Robin, Kathy WP, Linda from StampCut and Create, Yvonne. Okay, where's the one? I know I can't find the one I made in the Jennifer Cruz Creations. There you go. Look how cool. So you could take a deckled rectangle and stamp. It's the most magical time of the year in Poppy Braid. And you're going to use that stamp from, we don't need to actually stamp it because you know how to stamp. We just did a lot of stamping. But we're going to use the stamp from Snowman Magic to get the inside of this to match the outside. So we have Believe in the Magic. It's the most magical time of the year. How cool. They go together so well, those two stamps. On a deckled rectangle, the largest of the deckled rectangles, I believe. And that goes really well on the inside of the card. It goes with our layers. Sheila from Ohio. Catherine from Minnesota. Pat from Oklahoma. Anna from Australia. Victoria, awesome. Yeah, Kathy's saying she also struggles with the bigger tip, the brushing tip. Aloha, Lisa. And Be Pre from Georgia. Hilda. Thank you, Anna. And thank you guys for your comments. All right, so in part 1 and 2, here we go. So this will just take a minute. We have 3 projects to show you. Let's see what they are. Okay, so we did... And hello, Jade. Nice to see you, too. Okay, part 1. I'll just show you part 2 first because part 1's inside of part 2. So part 2, we'll just do part 2. Part 3, we just made snowman cards and we used Believe stamp. Then part 2, we used the Jingle 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 stamp, I should say. And we made these bags. I showed you how to make bags. We gusseted the side. They were inspired by a bag that Kathy sent me, the Halloween bag. I'll show you that. Okay, so my friend Kathy sent me this Halloween bag. She inspired me to do that. She also made a couple Jingle 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 projects. So another Jingle Jingle project, and I've been showing you her other cards. Pretty cool. We'll be doing similar things in this series. Okay, so anyway, her card, or her bag, inspired me to make these bags. And then something that my upline Hattie sent me inspired me to make this. So we made both of these projects, 3D projects, the bag, using the little bells from Hobby Lobby, those little bells. And we made these, what I'm calling a double treat holder. Well, it's a treat holder. It's like a diaper fold that we've been making a lot of. But these treat holders hold 2 tea bags instead of 1. You can also put tags in there. You can put sentiments on both sides. So we made both of these. And you can put a Ghirardelli chocolate in here as well. Now, if you're wondering, like, how does that relate to a diaper fold? Let me see. I think I have one in my bag. I made a couple empty bags to hold my loot. Okay, so like this is a diaper fold. And the thing about this diaper fold is it takes a 6x6 sheet of paper and I used the Celebrate Everything Designer Series paper. But what's really cool about it is you can take a 6x6 sheet of paper, which doesn't seem like this would work, right? This is a 6x6 sheet and this is a 6x6 sheet. And you're like, really? Yes, I'm not kidding you. So instead of getting 1 tea bag, you can hold 2 treats. So it's the same amount of paper. Here's some of my experimental ones. So these are the little treat holders. Oh, this is the one that inspired me. The one from my upline Hattie. She sent me this and I took it apart, right? Figured out how to do it. And I showed you how to make it in part 2. All right, so anyway, then in part 1, we did cards. I'm just going to show you them all. We did 'Tis the Season to Be Jolly cards. You guys voted and said you liked the outlines on the Jolly. I personally didn't like the outlines on the Jolly and told you how I would use the outlines. If I'm going to use the outline stamp, I'd use it like we did today for blending purposes and instead of trying to center it in there. But you seem to like it, so you can use it either way. It's up to you. So we made these using Celebrate Everything Designer Series paper. So we made some cards. We made Jolly cards. Then these are just extra ones that I said. This is the stitch rectangle, and these are the deckled rectangles. So both kinds of dies are great for layering. We use this card, and then the Believe is just an extra card I made for inspiration, and you can use the little lights and use a stitched rectangle. We'll probably make something like this soon as well when I go to use some of the stamps we haven't used yet. There's still lots of things in the Jingle 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 we haven't even touched yet, such as the Santa hats and the candy canes and I mean, there's so much we can do with it. We can make our own background paper and just have a lot of fun with this set. So I hope you enjoyed this. You're enjoying this series so far. We'll be creating more cards, tags, and 3D items throughout the series. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for shopping with me, and thanks for watching. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. That's all for now. This is the Papered Chef.